and welcome to the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is episode 86, and I'm really excited to be joined by Annette McDonald from Easil, talking about how to create awesome live video graphics with Easil. As always, if you want to get notified for future episodes, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe, and my handy Facebook Messenger bot will kick into action and notify you of all the live shows that I do every single week. And if you are in the UK, a US number is coming shortly, but if you text the word confident to 07723 361 790, that's 07723 361 790. If you text the word confident to that number, you can also get notified, which is fabulous. Also, if you're watching the replay, as always, put hashtag replay in the comments. That'll be awesome. But it is time to bring in Annette. Here we go. Hi, Annette. How are you doing?
Hey, Ian. How are you? I'm really well. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's awesome to have you. Thank you so much for sparing the time. I know it is a little bit late, but we're talking about this, that I think you guys in Australia get a bit of a raw deal because you have to stay up late for us in the UK or in the US and stuff. So this is actually quite early for you. What time is it where you are?
It's 8 p.m, so it's not too bad. It's a lot better than the early mornings with the USA, to be honest.
That's good, yeah. Because I mean, what's the earliest, or what's the most? Let's put it this way: what's the worst time you've had to do something like a meeting or a live show or something?
So far it was for Agora Pulse, and that was at 4 a.m. So yeah, I'd much rather stay up at 8 o'clock than get up at 3 a.m. It's one of those times where you go, should I stay up or should I wake up early? You know, smack bang in the middle of the what do I do?
It is. Now, as awesome as Agora Pulse is, that is still pretty horrible. I did a live webinar at midnight and I thought that was bad, but 4 a.m, that is not good. I can see some people, wonderful people watching live. So do keep the comments coming in if you've got any questions for myself or for Annette. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create awesome live video graphics with Easil. And yes, Easil is an awesome tool. And I think, Annette, you're going to be giving us a bit of a live demo if the tech works.
If the tech gods work with us, absolutely. Yeah, I'll share my screen and see what we can do.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So I would love to know from you, first of all, let me know what is the most horrible time you've had to get up for working with clients and things like that. I can see that Martin Buckland is up very early from Toronto, and I know he gets up at ridiculous times. So let us know about that. And yes, so that's the first question. And then the second question is overlays, graphics for live video. Do you use them? If not, why not? If you do, tell us a little bit more about your workflow. That would be really, really awesome to do that. So where are you dialing in from today, Annette, just before we get on with the main show?
So I'm on the Gold Coast in Australia. So it's in the sunny state of Queensland, which is, I'm very lucky to live where I do, right by the beach. Yeah, so it's beautiful, beautiful weather here.
Awesome. I'm kind of a bit jealous, really, but I'll try not to be. It's a beautiful day out here in Manchester, but there we go. Well, I think it's time to get on with the main show. So we'll be with you just after this. Do keep those comments coming on those questions, and we'll be with you very shortly.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello and welcome to episode 86 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. Do you want to level up the look and feel of your live shows with awesome graphics and overlays? But maybe you've struggled to create them. Maybe you've seen other people do really cool things with them, but you've not been able to do that because you don't have mega professional design skills. Well, don't worry, because in today's show, I'm joined by the founder of Easil, Annette McDonald, who is dialing in all the way from Australia. Easil is an online graphics tool, and I can't wait to share or get Annette to show us a little bit more about that. We'll be talking about how you can create overlays, titles, lower thirds, and other graphics to use on your show, and as well as to promote your live shows as well. When this podcast episode comes out, the show notes for this will be at iag.me/86. And as always, if you want to be notified for future shows, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe, which is fabulous. Right, it's time to bring in my first sponsor, who is Content 10X. Content 10X is awesome. They are an amazing service who are the complete, they're basically the complete repurposing service for entrepreneurs. A lot of people struggle with creating new ways or creating content. The great thing about live video is you create that content and then you can turn it into lots of different content. You can create lots of video babies and images and things like that, and blog posts and podcasts. And that's what I do with this show. So my friends at Content 10X will be able to take that one live stream that you do or blog post and turn it into lots of different things for you, whether it's a podcast or lots of video babies as well, which is really great. And it creates it into like a new platform-specific on-brand piece of content. If they don't do this for you, then they can teach you how to do that with their podcast, their blog, book, and toolkit. And they've got a new service called LinkedIn 10X. So if you're wanting to raise your game on LinkedIn, definitely check out their LinkedIn 10X service at LinkedIn at content10x.com and click on the LinkedIn 10X button. So I thank you so much, Amy and the team, for sponsoring the show. It's really, really awesome. Definitely check out Content 10X. Okay, it's time to bring in Annette McDonald, who is a fabulous person. We've just got to know each other a little bit more. We have met at Social Media Marketing World very briefly, but that's always a mad conference. So following on from a successful graphic design studio and over 20 years of design experience, Annette has now developed a tool to help teams of all sizes manage their own graphics like a pro. Her online software, Easil, is developed in Australia and compared to some of the biggest players in the game, providing the highest quality templates and easy to use editing tools and much more in the pipeline, which I'm very excited about. Welcome to the show, Annette.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you on. Thank you so much for sparing this time, Annette. It's great to have you on. We're going to be talking about your tool, Easil, but we're going to be talking about how to create templates and overlays and why you would even want to do that in the first place. But before we dig in, we've got some lovely people watching live, and it's very, very rude of me to ignore them all. So I hope you don't mind, Annette. I can see that Tim Sawn is watching from the US. Always impressed that you get up so early. Good morning here in the US anyway. Great to see you. And looking forward to having Annette McDonald on the Tim and Jim show. So there we go. So that might be a little bit later for you though, Annette. We were talking about bad times, but is it not?
No, Tim's actually got me. That will be my worst time, but that's okay. I love those guys.
They're great. They are absolutely great. And Lisa Monks is watching from down under. Lisa, great to see you here, saying hello, Ian and Annette. Great. And Martin Buckland from Toronto. We've got a lot of Australians in the house. We've got the fabulous Justin Brown here saying, haha, I can totally relate on that. And he also says, stream looks awesome. Thank you so much. We are a very international audience today. We've got Visional watching from Croatia, beautiful Croatia. Oh, I saw Croatia in the distance. I was in Slovenia last year, and that was great to see that. So I hope you're doing well. Lisa also says, I've pulled an all-nighter for US and UK conferences. Why does that not surprise me, Lisa? You would do something like that. But there we go. And Justin also said, Gold Coast, I'm on the Sunshine Coast. Can you just explain, because I get really confused between the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. What's the difference?
Yeah, so the Sunshine Coast is about 300 kilometres north of where I am, and we've got the capital city of Brisbane sitting in between us. So Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, and then Gold Coast down south from that. Both beautiful, beautiful areas, probably I would have to say, the nicest spots in the world. I'm sure Justin would agree. We're very, very lucky here, both coasts, and we're so close. We can do a weekend away. It's just, we're really lucky.
Yeah. Stop it now. I'm gonna get jealous. Awesome. Yeah, I've been to Queensland. This is many years ago. I was with a world tour with a choir I was singing in, and we went to Cairns and Brisbane and Darwin, I think. So happy memories of that beautiful part of the world. I can see that Bartek is here, watching on LinkedIn Live. Awesome. And the fabulous Adrian Salisbury watching on YouTube. Awesome. Great to see you here. And Lisa says Queensland is representing. Katie is watching on LinkedIn. Great to see you, Katie. Hi, Ian and Annette from the rainy Chiltern Hills. The beautiful Chiltern Hills, I think. And Lisa says, Cairns. Have I said something wrong there? I don't know what that's about. Anything? I don't know.
She didn't get an inclusion. I think so. She's North Queensland. So there's Lisa up further than us. So we have to give her a shout out up there as well. It's beautiful up there too.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Will you forgive me? Awesome. Right. Well, I think we need to get on with the topic. So we've talked a lot about Australia, which is obviously we've got to do that. But I want to know a little bit more about your history of how you got into this. You've got a design background. How did you get into the mad world of creating a tool? Presumably, you've got a development team and you've done that. Unless you're kind of massively into the coding yourself. So tell us a little bit of your background, how you got into this mad world.
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I do have a graphic design background, and that's been about 20 years at the moment. So I started doing freelance graphic design and then started getting busy with that and grew my own graphic design agency, which kept growing and growing and turned into a team of over 30 people in there. So we were really crazy busy, but what happened was when social media started rolling out and more digital services, everyone was wanting more graphics, like more Facebook graphics, more Instagram graphics, everything. It was really booming, and the demand on our team was just intense. And we got to a stage where we couldn't get any bigger. Like physically, we couldn't hire any more people in our building, and we didn't really want to. So we wanted to work out a way where we could turn around that work quicker for our clients and get rid of a lot of the stuff that was admin, because what was also happening was there were small changes. So people were ordering a graphic and then they were asking for a resize or a small change. And there was a lot of admin going backwards and forwards to get that graphic to that client. So we had some software development background with our team. We'd built some other web to print type systems. And so we started looking at that to work out how we could be more efficient for our clients and give them access to our designs, but make those small changes themselves. So that's really where Easil came from. And it was a lot different when we first started. We started out building it as a solution for a problem that we had in our agency. And so the first round of Easil, before it was known as Easil, was quite basic, but it took off. So our clients really, really liked it. And we thought, well, we're on to something here. We rolled it out to more clients. And as it got more and more uptake, we decided to totally rebuild it from scratch and then relaunch it to the world. So that's the short story of how it came about. We desperately needed it for ourselves so that we could keep up with our clients and the demand for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard that kind of story before, that particularly with agencies, they look around at all the other tools out there and there's just nothing that quite works for them. And so they have to create something. And I think that's a really good place to start, because you knew what the market was like. You looked around and you saw there were big gaps in that. Now, things have probably changed now. There are lots of image editing tools out there, but it seems to me that with Easil, you seem to be like at the forefront of that. I mean, what we were talking about this when we spoke last week, that I asked you whether you had the facility to remove a background from an image. So you upload an image of your guest, for example, on your live shows, and then I want to then remove the background. So I asked you whether you had that, and you said, well, yeah, we were kind of there first, So
yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
We do. We try and move with the times and ahead of the times as much as we can. We're still a pretty small team, but we're pretty lean. We're nimble. We can move fast. So when we see those, that technology evolving that will allow us to do that stuff in browsers, we try and bring it in as quickly as we possibly can.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, we're going to dig into that. Lisa is laughing. I think that was our joke before about cans and missing you out. I'm sorry about that, Lisa. Adrian Salisbury is saying, I just watched Annette's interview with Mary Van Brandt. So that's awesome. You seem to be doing a lot of interviews right now, which is great. Why should or how should we use Easil? We can do things like overlays and graphical stuff like that. I mean, should we actually be doing that at all? I mean, what's the benefit in using a tool like Easil to create those kinds of things?
Well, it's all about branding, really. It's about building your brand and getting more exposure. So the tools that are out there, including Easil, provide such an easy way to put your brand out there, like we do at the top of this live show. If you can put your logo and some of your branding colors throughout your show and sprinkle that around on promotions leading up to your show, it'll just get that familiarity. I've got my tongue twisted at the moment. Building up your brand with layers and getting that out there as much as you can so that people get more familiar with your brand every time they see that. So really, why would you not? If you've got an easy tool or easy suite of tools and you're producing graphics in literally minutes, why would you not do that?
I think that's a very good question. I'm glad it's not me that stumbles over words sometimes. The word that I stumble over, and I've had to practice a lot, is entrepreneurial. I really struggle with that word. So yeah, I think you're right. It's that familiarity. I'm going to struggle over it as well.
I don't know why I chose that word.
Yeah, but it is. I think it is true. When people, I mean, it's certainly like, for example, with Facebook Live, when I broadcasted Facebook Live, and it will just pop up on people's feeds, and if they can see the familiar branding, it's Ian's Confident Live show. I'm going to click on that, and it gives you that. I don't know. It's a consistent brand identity as you go through all your shows, which I think is great. So with Easil, we can create, I've mentioned, obviously, we can create overlays and we can create tell us, what can we use Easil for when it comes to live video, whether it's actually on the show or with promotion? And yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can create any type of digital or print graphic in Easil, but when we're talking about live shows specifically, you would be using it to build your promotion graphic. So everything that you do to promote your show up until the actual live show. You create the overlays like we've got on the screen now. So your lower thirds, your intros, any sort of static graphics. So it is only static graphics that you can create in Easil, but also anything post the show. So when you're promoting your show after you've finished, you might be doing a blog recap, or you might be then sharing it out on Pinterest or creating quote graphics, social media graphics. So really from the start to the show and then to repurposing after the show, you can come up with maybe 20 or 50 different types of content, all based around that one show, and making sure that that show is evergreen rather than sort of, fading out there and having a show and then just disappearing. Making sure that you create more and more things, pull out quote graphics and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, one of the things that I talk a lot about on the show is I call it my 5 Ps process. And I think often we just think about the live elements of live. I mean, it is live, isn't it? So we tend to think about that. So people think about lower thirds and overlays, but first of all, you've got to plan. That's the first P. You've got to plan your live videos. Then you've got to pre-promote it. And I think this is where a tool like Easil can come into it, because you can create images that you can share on Pinterest and Instagram, and all these networks have different dimensions, and I can never remember what they are. So using a tool like Easil, you can quickly and easily just I want to do Pinterest graphic or an Instagram story graphic, and it will just automatically give me the right dimensions. And then is the live part, so that's the production. So obviously we can use things like overlays on that. And then once you press the end broadcast button, this is the time when everyone thinks, well, that's the end of it. No, it isn't. You've got to post promote it. Again, you can use Easil for that. And then finally repurposing. I'm slightly cheating. There is a P in there, repurposing, and that's all about getting your content on all the different platforms. So I'm really excited to see a little bit more about Easil. I've used it a little bit over the years, but I hear so many amazing things, and I'm really excited to be using Easil a lot more often now. So I think it's time for you to give us a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, do not worry. We will do our best to describe what we're seeing on the screen. But of course, if you do go to iag.me/86, you can see videos, and we'll have some images on there as well. So don't worry about that. So fabulous.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's see if the tech's going to work.
I'll pop on. Let's see.
So we're using, just while Annette's doing that, we're using a new feature in Ecamm Live. I can see that's come through, and I'll bring that up in a second. But we're using a new service, a new feature in Ecamm Live. Just want to give a big shout out to Ecamm Live. This is a new interview feature. You used to have to use Skype, and now we don't. You can if you want. You can carry on using this. But the great thing is you can bring in your guests via the web, and they can share their screen as well. So I'm just going to... let's see. I think this is actually going to work. I think I'll just click on this button. There we go. How about that? That's awesome when it works. So yeah, tell us what we're seeing on the screen, Annette.
All right. So at the moment, I'm showing you the templates overview screen. So this is a range of sets that we've completed for live software like Ecamm Live, where you can come in and have a complete set of 7 to 9 different graphics that you can use for a show that's all consistent, and you can go in and then update the brand colors and all the information that's contained on them. So this is where you come in, choose the template that you want. It's more about picking the aesthetics that suit your brand at this stage, so more about looking what the layout looks like, because once you go into the template, you can go in and change the colors. So if you're looking at these layouts, you go, okay, I like the look of this one here. We'll load that up in Easil, and this is the editing screen. So I'll just pop this closed, and I'll just zoom in a little bit more. What each of these sets contain is a pre-promotion graphic, a countdown timer screen. So in Ecamm, you can obviously overlay your countdown timer over that, so you can brand that screen and put your timer over the top. The next one down is a lower third. And as we look at these, you'll be able to see that there's a checkerboard on some of these screens. And what that means is that that area will actually be transparent. So anything that's colored on the screen here will appear on top of your live feed, and anything transparent will obviously show the camera. So scrolling through again, there's another version of a lower third that you might use for a guest. There's a duo screen overlay. So when you've got 2 people on the screen, like Ian and I just had on. A circle layout, if you want something different to be picking out of a couple of circles instead of the standard square shape. A layout for 3 guests, and a thank you screen with all of your social handles. So all of those come in each of those layouts, because really people were crying out for that type of thing. You know, they were creating a lower third here and a promotion graphic somewhere else. And so it really made sense for us to come up with a whole cohesive theme that you could go into in one document and update it with all your own branding and export out the screens that you need. So that's pretty much the basis of any of those templates. And if you're keen for it, Ian, I can go through and make some updates and show how simple this is.
I would love that. So yeah, so what we're going to do, so Annette, what could possibly go wrong here? Annette is going to design a new theme for the show, and then we're going to see if it works. But I think this is exciting stuff. I haven't really seen a tool out there that does this, that creates a whole theme, like a template of not just one overlay, but this is multiple overlays. So if you've got 2 guests on the show, if you're wanting to make it like a round, like a kind of pop, what do you call it? Like a round little pop throughs. And you know, the problem that I've had is I've had to use a tool to come up with the design, and then I've had to load it into Photoshop to cut out the little gaps. Because if you think about it, an overlay it goes on top of your video. So you can see myself and Annette here. But if I take away my overlay, it's like that. Now that looks horrible. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can see, we can see my webcam and Annette's webcam. We're actually at different sizes and a horrible black background. The overlay, what happens is I put that on top. Let's see if it's going to come back. There we go. I put it on top, and it's got these little cutouts so that people can see me and they can see Annette there. And I've had to use the likes of Photoshop for that, which is horrible to use. So this is great. I love this with Easil, that it's all comes pre-configured, and you don't have to. When you look at the template. So the template that we're currently looking at is blue. That might not be your brand colors, but you can change that, can't you, Annette? So
yes.
Just a big shout out. Sorry, I can see Eileen is here, so I just wanted to say, Eileen Smith, hope you're doing really well. Great to see you. And Lisa also says, I love Easil. The templates are awesome. And I think Lisa's also talking about Ecom Live here, so saying the quality is excellent. I'm so pleased that Skype is no longer required. So there we go. Anyway, onto this, Annette.
I have to agree with you, Lisa. It's amazing. The new interface is so good. And just to explain to the people listening, it's a nice frame. I think that's the way to explain it is it creates a frame that surrounds each one of the speakers. So rather than having just your cameras at different sizes and things like that, you can create a really nice branded frame that just perfectly fits in with your live show theme. So with Easil or many other software out there, it's just drag and drop, update your colors in your images and things like that. So going in here, we can go in and update our show. So we'll call it Confident Live. Hopefully I can do that without making any typos. We'll say with Anderson Gray. And so just typing in, double clicking to activate the text boxes. That's all I need to do to update that sort of content. And with anything else, like you mentioned, Ian, this is a blue theme to start off with, and that may not be your brand colors. So in Easil, you can load up your brand colors and you can apply them to your template quite easily. So if these are my brand colors here, I can go in and I can change the background color of those, and I can just click to update any of the other little elements into the same sort of palette that's in my brand suite, which shows up here in this color pop out. So anything that you click gives you access to any of the tools that are available to that element, if that makes sense. So it's quite intuitive to know that if you're picking a photograph, when you click on that it will give you the options to edit a photo. And if you're clicking on a text box, the options within the interface will give you all of the text tools.
That's awesome. And I was going to ask, it's just people watching, either live or the replay, how geeky are you? Do you know the hex code for your brand colors? That's what I want to know. So let us know in the comments.
I'd love to know how many do too. I'm still from the old school of PMS colors, so hex colors are just I haven't even bothered to learn what those colors are because it's just too hard to remember so many codes,
I know.
6-digit codes and so many of them. So storing them in a software is really much easier on our overworked brains, I think. So if we've got this placeholder image here, we've got a side tab here where you can actually upload your own images, and I've got one here of Ian, just something I prepared earlier. So I can go in and place that in my design. So I have to say you look fabulous, Ian, but it's on a red background, and I've changed my design to a purple and a blue, and it doesn't look amazing. So what I would do in this instance, so if a guest provides you with an image that doesn't work in with your show branding, I would suggest actually removing the background. So there's another one here that I've prepared earlier with the background removed. So what I would do in this instance is I would actually get rid of that one with the colored background. I would enlarge that on there, drag and drop, and just position that in there. So it's as simple as doing that, and everything within the design you can actually move around. There's little guides to, you know, snap things into place for alignment, and that's pretty much your promotion graphic done. I mean, you could add, you know, the time that you're going on or any other information that you want on that first screen, but you can use that as your pre-promotion graphic, or even, you know, when people are waiting for you to come on, you could have that on the show in the first place. And you could even update that to be your YouTube thumbnail as well for after the show. Take off some of this information, take off that Facebook Live logo that we've got on here, simplify it, and reuse that for your repurposing as well. So you've covered a couple of graphics just in that one step. So moving along to the next screen here where we've got the countdown timer. So as we mentioned, if you're using Ecamm Live, you could just copy that and paste that into that box there to save retyping it. Reapply your colors to that from your brand color palette. In a couple of clicks, go through and change a couple of colors. Keep that all in your color palette, and it's as simple as doing that. And then moving down to your lower third, again, you would repeat the process. So this one has the live show name on there, so you can go through and pop your show details in there. And I'll scroll back up to the top here where I typed out our names. Scroll back down here and just pop them in there. Adjust that a little bit because we've got a couple of names to fit in there.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what you're doing on every screen, is going through and updating any brand colors and applying them to the little elements. You can add any other images or bits and pieces onto there, but I would suggest for your lower thirds to keep them fairly simple. You don't want them covering your guests too much. So pretty much staying to where the template is designed, you know, staying within the boundaries of that rather than bringing in things like, you know, you don't want to start putting graphics up here that will then cover your guests. So keeping to the boundaries, keeping to that lower third area that's been created, and working through each of these templates that you may or may not need. So if we decide we don't want to use this page with the lower third facing on the other side, you can delete that. If you've got two guests, you could go in again and brand this one, or you could take off this bottom section if you've got comments coming in along the bottom, which obviously a lot of people using Ecamm would do that, you know, just come through and delete that, or have your show details on there. Click in, double click, copy your text in, and that's pretty much as easy as it is going through each of these. And then finally going through to the last screen. I won't go through and update all the colors and the text because that's just pretty repetitive going through and doing that. But on the last screen, you've got a thank you screen, which you can obviously pop on your live when you're closing out and, you know, people are turning their cameras off or you don't want anything showing. Pop that thank you screen on, add all of your social handles, and close off your show. So you can have a whole suite of templates designed in, what have we got, maybe 5 minutes in total going through and doing that. So that's the live component of your show and the overlays, and you've also created your pre-promotion graphic in one size and also a size that you can use for your thumbnails as well. So super quick, super easy, and that's really why you would do it, because it is so quick and easy to step up your live production in just a few minutes.
And that's for the pre-promotion of it. It's also for the actual live show, and it's the post-promotion across all the different channels. So I mean, I know we haven't had the time today to show how you do this, but you can create those graphics for Instagram and Pinterest, which will have different dimensions, which is really, really cool. And the other thing that I presume that you can do with that is that once you go through that and you change the colors and you make it the way you want it to look like, you can presumably save that as a template and reuse that for future as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just going through before I show you that part, what I might mention is the PNG part. So Ian and I actually spoke about doing this, and what I'll actually do is I'll download this this template set. So I'll pick a PNG file, which is really important for people to understand that that is the type of file that produces this transparent area. So if you create your graphics and you're using an application that only allows you to create a JPEG file, you won't actually have this transparent area that will work for your overlays. So in a design like this, you'd pick your PNG format that generates, and again, if the technology gods work with us, what I'm going to do is actually send that over to Ian, and we're going to pop that on the screen and show you the end result of how quick and easy that is and how you can pop that in Ecamm. So I might just, I'll stop sharing for a second and I will send this file across to you.
That sounds great. Well, while you're doing that, Annette, I'm just going to, I can see that Martin, actually, 1 second. So Martin Buckland. So my goodness, I'm very impressed. He says, "Yes, I know my Pantone colors."
Wow.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, I don't have a print background, so I'm a hexadecimal guy or whatever it is. Anyway, yeah. So I know my hex colors. I wouldn't be able to tell you my Pantone. So never mind. That's just the way it is. But I'm very impressed. Wondering if anyone else knows theirs. So have you been able to send that across?
I have. I've dropped that over to you now.
Right.
So hopefully that pops up.
I can see something.
But if you like, if you're looking around, I could probably show you how easy it is to turn that into a template if I pop that share back on here.
Yeah. You do that while
while you're looking for your thing now. So, okay, here we go. Hopefully that is popping up.
Yeah, looks like it is. There we go.
Okay, so I'm just in my Easil workspace at the moment. So this is just my mess of designs showing at the moment. So anything that I've worked on recently comes up as the last file here, and turning it into a template is as simple as clicking on this little pop-up at the bottom of the thumbnail and clicking on convert to template. And what that means is then it actually comes up in a separate section where it works as a template, meaning that every time you click on that template, it creates a new copy of that. So if you're working with a team or even a virtual assistant, you can allow them to come into your team and make a copy of that design for themselves and never mess with that original master template. And yeah, it's as simple as that. You can also share graphics with other people so that you're actually collaborating on the same file as well. It's not live collaboration, but you can actually work on that same design if you need to as well.
Oh, that's good to know. That's if you work in a team, that's going to be really helpful. Or if you have a virtual assistant and you want to get them to make the changes. And the great thing about this is that your VA or yourself, they don't have to have graphical backgrounds. I mean, it probably helps to know a few things like what colors clash and things like that. But the great thing about Easil is that you've already got those templates. So it's a case of just tweaking a few little things. I would be right in saying that, wouldn't I?
Yeah, totally. So I think the thing too is that you can look for your VA or someone with a little bit more graphic experience to set up that template for you. So then all you need to do is really do what I did then and add your show details every time and not really go through and change your colors and things like that, because once you've got your master template, it is all about being familiar and keeping that same template each and every time. So you might, pay a small fee for someone to assist you with setting that up and creating that beautiful frame or set of frames for you. And then all you do is actually do the text component, download it and upload it to your software, your streaming software every time you go live. So it's just a matter of, allowing another 4 or 5 minutes to do those small changes and set up the graphics each time yourself.
That's awesome. And just to say, we've mentioned Ecamm Live a lot on the show. You don't have to use Ecamm Live. I use Ecamm Live. I love it. But there are other tools. I mean, you could use Restream Studio is a great one. If you're wanting to be a bit more geeky, there's OBS Studio, there's vMix, there's all these tools. I mean, we've talked about all of those a lot on the show. But I think it's time just to test this out. So you've sent one image over. So I'm going to go on to my... so you can see at the moment, so if you're listening to the podcast, this is just the solo shot of me. I've got my current overlay there, which I'm going to turn off. if I can find the bottom. There we go. So, and I'm also going to switch off my name. So you can just see at the moment my webcam. And I'm going to click on the zoom and pan button just to make myself full screen there. And then I'm going to upload the image that Annette gave me. So I need to go into my downloads folder and let's go to date added and I can see it there. Okay, so there we go. That was quick and easy. So I could resize it, but it's actually going full screen there. So it's there on the right, on the left even. So what do you think of that, Annette?
Perfect. And that's how easy it is, really.
It's really
and
easy.
I think that it does. It lifts your graphics are amazing anyway. So I'm not going to say that my little graphic there is any better than what your show is. It looks fantastic. But stepping up, if you're going from no graphics to adding that lower third, it really steps it up quite quickly. And that's starting, I really started with the basics of that. But you can go in and you can, once you get familiar with graphic design software, or if you pay for someone to do something custom for you, then, you can really step things up quite a bit.
Yeah, you can. It just showed you how simple that was to do. So it was just a case of downloading it as a PNG. It's important to do it as a PNG because that gives you that transparency in the background. Otherwise, you'd be basically, you wouldn't be able to see yourself or your guest, which wouldn't be good. And then you can just add it on to your software. It's that easy. And presumably it's exactly the same with the frame. So if you got the two people, if you've got a guest and yourself, you can download that and then just upload that. And then software like OBS or Ecamm, you can resize it. But other software, it should be just very simple to do as well.
That's exactly right. So exactly how we have it here on your stream with the different frames, it's all the same thing. All of them are adding. They're sitting on top of your video. So you can actually get creative with different things too. You could have things cutting off the corners, or, if you were having a live show on your own, you might have yourself off to the side and then, something presenting on the side of that. So it's totally up to planning your show, working out what graphics will suit, and leaving that transparent area for yourself and or your guests to show through on every screen.
I think it's really important, whatever software that you use, that you plan in advance. So if you've got a guest, it's good to have a solo shot of just your guest. So if I go back here, this is Annette. This is a split screen for me. I've also got a different type. So I think it just creates a bit more interest, and you can create these overlays in Easil really quickly and easily, and easily, yeah.
Easily, yeah.
So it's really, really easy to use, and I think Eileen Smith agrees. Looks great, Annette. Thank you, Eileen. So how can people sign up? I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about the different plans that people can sign up with? I mean, how easy is it to sign up and get started with it all?
Yeah, so you can sign up. We've got a 30-day free trial of our Easil Plus plan, which is everything that you need for this type of thing. So no credit card required. You can sign up with email, Facebook, or your Google account. So go to easil.com, sign up there and try it for free for 30 days. And then ongoing, if you want to stay on that Plus plan, it's $7.50 per user per month. So we try and keep that quite reasonable and add, a lot of value to that. We also like to work with the community. So any of the people out in the live streaming community are really giving us feedback on these types of overlays and templates. And even just the last few days, we've expanded on producing more different camera views and things like that. So, we really value the input from the community to build that out and keep building a professional product for everyone.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And I think one of the other things that I love about Easil is the design team. I mean, they are amazing. All the designs that you have in there are just very different. A lot of people out there are using other tools out there, which I won't name, but Canva and things like that. Which is, I'm not knocking other tools at all, but I think it's good to just stand out. I think we should be using looking at tweaking the designs and looking at using something different. And I've been really impressed with the designs. And I just want to say, Easil are not sponsoring the show. I brought in Annette because I generally believe Easil's a great product. So I'm not being paid to say all of this. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit more about your design team and presumably. If there are different times in the year, say, for example, we're wanting to, it could be like Christmas or Halloween or something like that. Do you have like different themes that we can quickly and easily use?
Yeah, so we haven't really done different themes for holidays for the live streams. We've got tons of graphics that are in there, so you can add those in there and customize that yourself. But I mean, that's a really great idea. I think, we haven't really gone down that way yet because it hasn't been requested. But now that you have, we can definitely think of those sorts of things. They might, if we get some feedback from the community on, what else there is, it might be, a Christmas theme. And, for different types of events, it might be church, Christmas carols and things like that. There might be things that we just haven't thought of yet. But our graphic design team definitely likes, I'll say they thrive off working on client ideas because you can get a little bit, in your own space thinking that you're doing the right thing, but it's much, much better to hear from the community on what they actually need and produce those graphics for them instead.
Yeah, really, really important. So but because, there's not just the live element, there's the post-promotion, the pre-promotion side of things. And Lisa Monks was had a comment, and this is actually what I was going to ask you next, Annette. So this is great. Our brains are thinking alike, Lisa. Can I add that customer support is amazing? Now, I'm a new user of Easil, so I haven't had to kind of call on customer support. But one thing that you said earlier, which appealed to me, is that you're still a small team, and there's something about, I don't know, I love working with a tool company where the team is reasonably small because they haven't lost sight of their customer base, and I've found this with the likes of like Ecamm Live, a small team, but they just, I feel like I know them, and I feel like that would be the same with Easil. Tell us a little bit more about your customer service side of things. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I can't see us turning into this, huge company where we do lose touch. It's really nice having that graphic design background where we always did work directly with our clients, that we sort of bring that into the digital space of Easil, and we're still on customer support, as much as we can, including myself. And I've got some friends, and even, Lisa, I've got to know Lisa being on customer support, and, we talked about going to social media marketing world together after getting to know each other through the tools. So to me, it's actually a really, really good space to get to know people, get feedback, work out what we need to be doing to build the product. It's not even so much about tech issues, thankfully. I mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen at all, especially since we've got through this show okay. But there are bugs. Anyone in software will tell you that there are bugs that come up, and we do our very best to squash them straight away. But our customer service is more about educating the client and really, seeing them get that aha moment. I've learned this, you show me how to do this, and now I can keep designing on my own. That's really, really important to myself and important to my team as well, more so than, solving, little technical glitches and things like that, which we have to do, but it's more about the education factor of it.
Yeah, I love that, because I think not all of us have design brains, and so actually getting a little bit of help and advice to begin with, that's going to give your customers the confidence to be able to produce some really amazing designs, and for their live shows and for other social media content. So I think that's really good to hear. Well, thank you, Annette. It's been great to have you on the show. Thank you so much, everyone who's been watching live, for your comments. If you're watching the replay, do keep the comments coming, because I will get back to you. And I know, Annette, I'm sure you'll be able to answer any questions that people may have. If you want to find out more about Easil, if you want to sign up for a free trial, all you need to do is go to easil.com. I'm just double checking the spelling because I know how you spell it, but you get that kind of sudden doubt in your brain. easil.com. easil.com. And that would be really, really awesome to do. Well, thank you, Annette. What are you going to do now?
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's well, we're coming up to 9:30 now, so I'll get my son to bed. I've got an 8-year-old boy, so I'll get him off to bed, and yeah, I think I'll just have a nice cup of tea and settle down myself as well.
That sounds very, very nice. And just one final question before you go. I don't know if you're aware of this, but every the podcast of this, when this comes out, I always do a little theme song. My background is I trained as a professional singer, and so I always like to have a bit of fun. If you could pick one music type or musical genre, what would it be? What would you like to listen to?
I don't know if you'll like this because I'll probably say hip hop.
Hip hop. Well, you're not.
Give me a rap, Ian.
Okay. Well, it has been done before. I had Janet Murray on the show, and she said rap and hip hop, which I have to admit is not my favorite thing, but it was quite fun to do. So, well, you've given me a challenge there. We'll see what we can come up with there. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Annette. It's been great to have you on the show. Just to let you know before we finish today, this live show goes live every Tuesday and Thursday. It's Tuesday in the morning in the UK and in the afternoon on Thursday. If you want to get notified for future episodes, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe, and my handy messenger bot will kick into action. If you're in the UK, just send the word confident to 07723 361 790. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcasting app. All you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast. That's iag.me/podcast. But until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.